So, Terry, just move it down a little bit. So, hold on, let me see if it's... here we go. There you go, perfect. So we are live on YouTube on the Geaux Rouge channel. If you're watching right now, I'm about to share this a few times, so just sit tight, sit chilly, if you will, Terry. Hold on one second. Let me... There should be a intro to it. If you can't find it, though, Taylor has in the past added it later. So, link number 1. Let me send the link to Facebook. Is Leslie going to be watching? I need Leslie to be watching, too. She's working.
School.
What does she teach?
She teaches second grade at Lewis Vinson in Denham Springs.
Awesome. This is episode 90, Terry.
Wow. I saw that on the... I checked y'all out online. Been doing this a while.
Yeah, 2 years now. That's it. So I would say only be careful, though, because if YouTube picks up the music, it gets angry and doesn't let you post because there's copyright laws and whatever. So, yeah. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, and I can't tell, we've got 2 people watching on YouTube. That's amazing. I'm one of them. So if you're watching on YouTube, I've got Pastor Dr. Terry Ellis here to talk about Chrysalis Interventions as our first guest. We're going to talk a little bit about your background.
Sure.
And then we're going to have Theater Baton Rouge as our second troupe. They just got done, Chuck, with their Clue show, and now they're starting Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know there was a production of Clue happening. I would have
not only was there a production of it, it looked fantastic. I was not able to make it due to the hurricane, but so yeah, we have confirmation we are streaming right now.
There you go.
And then Chuck, if you want to share it to Talk 107.3, I'll let you do that in due course.
Yeah, let me just get you started.
Yeah.
And I'll share it after that.
He just pulls my string, Terry. Once he pulls my string, and occasionally he'll flash minutes, and it's
yeah.
It's
So
great.
you was it 22 minutes? Is that
22 minutes total from when we start.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2-minute intro, 20-minute segment, and then if you just start letting me know when there's like 10 minutes, 5 minutes,
okay,
we're good. Just like a normal show. Just like you've done this production stuff for a while.
Like I've done this once.
Yeah, or a while. Chuck does a radio show. He does. You do how many shows, Chuck?
Right now, just Jays, and then I had a show on Eagle 98.1 on Saturdays. But now that LSU football started, that's done for the fall. And then I'm the production director over all the stations.
All right.
Cool.
All right. You got a lot of buttons in front of you.
Whole bunch.
So if you think I'm a foodie, this guy, you want to talk to him about food?
Okay.
I like to eat.
He
We had
does.
Rocco's Po' Boys in this morning.
Sounds
Those are
great.
good.
They were really. He did roast beef and meatball, and they were.
And they care about the community. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Oh,
They care about the
Rocco's-
community. They'll do community give back nights. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
So-
Rocco's a good guy. All right, you ready to start this?
Yeah. Are you gonna play the bump, or are
I'm
you just
gonna do the bump, and
just point at me?
yep.
Okay. Just let me know.
How long does that bump normally go before you start talking? Does it matter? Or?
There's vocal in it, so when the vocal stops, that's when he points at me.
Gotcha. All right.
So if you listen to it, you'll know.
Okay.
Welcome to another episode of the Geaux Rouge Radio Show. This is your host, Franz Borkart, speaking to you live from Talk 107.3, or if you're watching on YouTube, on the Geaux Rouge YouTube channel. Welcome to episode 90. We've got Chuck P. on Master Controls. Chuck, how's it going, buddy?
Going well, so good to see you, Franz.
It's good to be back, man. I took 2 weeks off. I had a legal conference in Las Vegas, and then we had this hurricane.
Yes.
So it's good to be back. Episode 90, 10 more, and I get a set of steak knives from Guarantee Broadcasting.
Oh, and I think like a Partners One card or something.
That would be nice, too. That would be nice. I like swag. I like gifts. 90 episodes, man. So
great.
This week on the Geaux Rouge Show, we have Terry Ellis from Chrysalis Interventions going to talk to us about a local intervention business and how that kind of works. And then in our second half, we're going to have Theater Baton Rouge talking a little bit about their production of Clue that just wrapped up, and then also about the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is going to be starting soon. But before we jump into all that, Chuck, before we jump on into all that, we need to thank our show sponsors. These are the men and women. These are the folks that make the Geaux Rouge show possible. La Divina Italian Cafe, open every day with your custom made-from-scratch breakfasts. Awesome place to get a cup of coffee. Dr. G, Dr. Gunja Rina with MD VIP. That is my doctor. She is a concierge medical service, www.drrena.com. Definitely want to check her out. If you've noticed over the last couple of years, Chuck, I've lost a little bit of weight, gotten a little healthier.
A little bit. You look good, dude.
I look dang sexy. I say dang sexy.
Keep it clean.
She has played a large part in that journey, so you definitely want to talk to her. Dr. G, Dr. Gunja Rina, www.drrena.com. Last but not least, the Borkart Law Firm, the finest criminal defense firm in the universe, in the multiverse. One last thing we need to talk about before we jump in. If you want to watch more episodes of the Geaux Rouge Show on demand, go to www.geauxrouge.com and also subscribe to our YouTube page. And then the other thing we need to talk about is October. Terry, October's coming up. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I am participating in the Real Men Wear Pink campaign with the American Cancer Society. I'm wearing my Real Men Wear Pink campaign pink shirt today, although I also have a fleece on because I'm freezing cold. Because it's in the 80s today. Yes. I'm freezing cold in the 80s. So definitely be looking for ways to participate. It's a competition, Chuck. I'm trying to be the biggest fundraiser of the Real Men in Baton Rouge wearing pink. Right now I'm in the lead by several thousands of dollars.
Oh, wow, nice.
Oh, yeah, dude. You know me. Go big or go home.
Yes,
so
this is true.
But everybody wins because we're fighting breast cancer. So without further ado, we've got Terry Ellis in studio. Terry, how's it going?
Good morning, Franz. Good to be here. Thanks.
Awesome to have you in here. Now, look, before we jump in, Terry, you're with a business called Chrysalis Interventions. What is Chrysalis Interventions?
Chrysalis Interventions is a company I started 6 years ago. And what we do, or what I do, is work with people who have problems with drugs and alcohol.
Right.
Families will call me, family members will call me, and they say, I've got somebody, we think we have a problem with addiction, alcoholism, whatever it may be, and we don't know how to talk to them. So I help families know how to talk to their loved ones to help them make changes so they can get into recovery.
So let's take a step back. Before you did this intervention business, you were a pastor.
That's right.
You're a retired pastor, right?
Yes.
You have a PhD in Greek. Right?
That's right.
All right. So I still don't know. You're good friend. We are friends in real life.
We are.
I'm always struggling with, do I call you Reverend Doctor? Do I call you Pastor? Do I call you Doctor? I just call you Terry.
You can call me Most Holiness.
Most Holiness.
That's what I'd like.
You are one of the best ex-Baptist preachers turned interventionist, who also play golf. But I just want to give some background here. So he's a huge fan of Godzilla as well, Chuck.
Oh, nice, good.
Godzilla's the truth.
So, okay, let's walk into this. So you have a career helping people, right? That's why I brought up the background.
Sure.
What led you into thinking, hey, I'm going to start an intervention business?
Right. Well, this is Recovery Month, Franz, and throughout the nation we celebrate the idea that people are getting into recovery. We see a lot of headlines about people in addiction. We've got about 25 million people who are suffering today from some degree of substance use disorder addiction, right?
Right.
We've got 23 million who are walking around in long-term recovery, I should say, from addiction. And I'm one of those guys.
Right.
Okay. I was a Baptist pastor for 34 years. Didn't drink for half a century. I had 50 years of sobriety.
Right.
So I'm hard to beat in that regard.
You came to the game a little late. It's
Okay.
okay.
That's right. And I quickly tried to make up for lost time. No, I had some things happen in my life at age 50, 51, just a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, a lot of disappointment, just questions, and I just lost my hope. I lost any direction and just fell into some depression, fell into some despair, and began drinking. So I quickly became an alcoholic. I embraced it enthusiastically. Had no idea of the monster that was in my head. And when I woke that thing up, it grabbed a hold of me, and it got me hard. So anyway, I was still a pastor. I was preaching every Sunday. I was unraveling inside. Very few people knew what was going on. My wife was concerned. But then one day, 8 years ago, a church member came to me and said, we need to get you well.
Okay.
This was Dr. Leon Dement. He just passed away in the past year.
Was that in the form of an intervention?
Well, it was.
Yeah,
certainly.
okay.
Any intervention, well, kind
I
of
was just
jumping ahead a little bit.
I was just about to ask you.
Anytime somebody comes to you and says, I think you got a problem, man. I think
Right.
this is not working for you. That's an intervention.
Right.
Okay? So Leon did a little bit more than simply that, coming to me as a friend. He did, Leslie, my wife, called him the night before and said he's dying. He's going to kill himself. And she was right. So it was a little bit more of a formal intervention in the sense that we got to do something. We got to help this guy now.
Okay.
Leon and I were friends, and he came to me and he said, we need to get you well, and I want you to go to the doctor with me tomorrow that I choose and do what he says. And for whatever reason, Franz, I think the reason was I just had no fight left in me. I didn't deny it. I didn't say, no, I don't have a problem. I just gave up. I knew my ministry was over. I felt my life was over. So, yeah, I'll do whatever you want.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for sharing that aspect about your life. If you've been listening to the Geaux Rouge show for any extended period of time out there in radio world, you know that I also am in recovery, and I've lost drinking privileges. So I'm acquainted with Terry on that level as well. But I will say, the other thing that is inspiring to me is, we think of the person that has addiction as, sometimes the guy on the street asking for cash for booze, or the person that's addicted and living in a slum somewhere. It happens to all of us. So the fact that you were a pastor at the time, that to me is on the surface it was one thing, but there was things going on now. So you have this experience in recovery. You've been a pastor. Walk me through the decision to say, hey, I've had this career. I could otherwise retire and live the high life with my beautiful wife Leslie, but I'm gonna start something that helps other people of this nature.
Right. Well, when I went to the doctor, to pick up the story again, he told me to go to recovery, go into treatment, and so I did, and I stayed 90 days. 92 days actually. I needed every day of it. It really helps reset my life, get me reconnected with God, just brought me back to life. I say it restored my soul. So I came back to the church, and I had this story, and they knew where I had been. I told the leadership, I said, just tell them what's happened. I mean, the truth can't be worse than rumors. So
well, especially with the fact that you're now out of treatment. And
yeah, right. And the pastorate is really a goldfish bowl. People see what's going on, and so it's very transparent. So when I came back, I had to make a decision about what to do with this story, and I just decided to embrace it. I mean, this was something that happened to me, and it's real. And so my first words from the pulpit on a Sunday morning when I got back from treatment were, I'm Terry, I'm an alcoholic. And Franz, that opened a door. I had pastored large churches for 32 years up to that point. And literally thousands of people in congregations. Very, very seldom did anyone come to me and say, I got a problem with alcohol.
Right.
I need help. They just don't come to the minister. We don't go
Right.
to anybody, right?
Right.
Very seldom do we go to anybody and say, I think I got a problem. That almost never happened. After I got up and was just very honest about my addiction to alcohol and what it had done to me, that just opened the doors, and people started coming and saying, hey, I got 22 years in recovery, I got 7 years, if you need anything. These were deacons, these were leaders, these were people who have life together, right?
Right.
Which reminds us, this addiction thing, you mentioned it, we think of the person on the street, it cuts across all demographics.
Right.
Nobody's protected. My faith didn't protect me. But the other thing that happened is that people started coming to me and saying, my husband's drinking too much, what do I do? And I'd go talk to him. I'd say, hey, you need to go to treatment. Or I got a nephew in drug addiction. What do I do? I'd take him to treatment. So that really started my heart pounding, and I felt called. I felt called to do this.
So in my day job, as you know, I'm again Borkart Law Firm, finest criminal defense firm in the multiverse. In my day job, sometimes I represent folks that have addiction problems.
Right.
And there are a lot of misconceptions about, one, why do people not stop? Why do people not get help? And then I want to talk a little bit about, what does an ideal intervention look like, if there is such a thing as an ideal intervention? And then second of all, why is an intervention tough for a family, and why would someone like you be of assistance?
Right. The ideal intervention, to go to your first question, the ideal intervention is when I can get a number of family members together and friends, maybe an employer. That's really, really a key if I can do that. And I get them all in the same room. Nobody's angry. And they're talking to the loved one, and they express three things. We love you. We're concerned about you. We got a reasonable plan to help you.
Okay.
And nobody's mad. I've edited that out in meetings with the family. We call it the intervention team. The intervention team is anybody, I sometimes say it's anybody who would be on the first two pews of the funeral for the addicted loved one. And so, again, those can be family members, friends, an employer, that kind of thing. And so they're just expressing those two things: love, concern, reasonable plan. And that's a very, very powerful spiritual dynamic.
Right.
When everybody's there and we're just expressing love, we're leading with love, it's love first all the way. And 90% of the people will end up going to treatment. So the ideal intervention is one where I've got a lot of participation. The more people I can get in the room, up to 10 or 12, the better off it's going to be, the better chance
So
we've got.
your first and foremost goal is to get the individual into the car, because the car is going to drive to,
Right.
or the plane
That's right.
is presumably going to
Right.
fly to treatment.
That's right.
Walk me through a little bit about, because there's some misconceptions about treatment options available to different folks, different economic, social backgrounds. Walk me through kind of that process of lining up a treatment facility,
Right.
Because it's something you and I know a little bit about it. I know about it because of my day job, but walk me through that, and then I want to talk about kind of your role after you get them to treatment.
Good. Right. When I'm trying to assess somebody and trying to figure out what's a good treatment facility for them, the first thing that we look at is the clinical needs. I mean, is this person, everybody's got co-occurring. And what I mean by that is I've got an addiction issue, but I've also got depression. I got anxiety. I'm some bipolar tendencies, whatever it may be.
So you're doing a background on these people.
Oh, yeah, as much as you can. You're trying to find out from the family, what other diagnoses do they have? I want to know what I'm looking at. I want to know what drugs they've been on, what they're using, any kind of physical harm they've been in, any kind of traumas, past traumas, especially brain injuries. Those kind of things are really important. So I gain as much information about the loved one and the family system as I can before we go into the intervention. So that helps me to determine, all right, we need to look for a particular place that really can handle these kind of needs. And then we talk to the family about, what kind of resources they have and what they can bring. But there's a treatment facility for anyone. There's absolutely something out there for anybody of any socioeconomic, any medical needs, any addiction needs, whatever it may be.
So that is one of the biggest misconceptions, right? Is that only the rich go to treatment.
Right.
Now that being said, there are affluent treatment facilities and wonderful exotic paradises.
That's right.
that if you have a large quantity of money, you can absolutely go to, but it's not, the economics of your economic situation is not necessarily a barrier to you getting inpatient treatment. There is a place out there for you.
Indeed.
Okay.
And I can't tell you, if I get you to a place out in California that has your personal masseuse with you, that's not going to give you any better treatment or give you any better
Right.
chance of getting in recovery. You can get what you need. You got to buy into it. But those other amenities for some people, yeah, if they want them, I'll get them to a place. You can spend a heck of a lot of money, but it's not any better than I can get somebody, locally. Really.
So for me, if I have a client in jail, anything in their mind is better than jail. And so their willingness to bargain at that point to do anything to get out of jail, which is me saying, hey, your family is willing to bail you out if you go immediately to a treatment facility. There is some bargaining going on at that point. Your intervention, however, and I want to go back to this, your intervention, it's not really a bargaining situation. You're affording an opportunity. What happens if they don't want to get in that car and they don't want to go in that plane?
Well, they never want to.
Right.
Maybe
Okay,
let's put it that way.
That's what
one
I
of
was
the
getting
myths.
at.
That's exactly right. That's one of the myths, that they got to want to get well. They don't want to get well. Not never, but very, very seldom do I go in and somebody just kind of says, "Oh, I'm so glad this is happening. I need to change." That almost never happens. They don't want to go. So almost always, the family does their thing where individually they express love, concern, reasonable plan. Everybody goes around the room and they express that in a written form, and then I, let it settle for just a minute, and then I say, "All right, Franz, are you ready to get well? We want to help you." Franz is going to say, "What do you want me to do?" And that's when I say, "All right, we've got a place picked out for you. I need you to get in the car with me. We're going to get on the plane. We're going to go, all right?" At that point, that's when you say, well, no, there's no way I can do this. And number one objection is going to be job. Can't lose my job. Got to have money. Can't be away from the kids. Can't be away from the dog. Somebody's got to feed the cows. All of these are things that I've heard, right?
These are, and look.
These are objections.
These are objections. So is there time spent before the intervention talking to the family about, okay, this is how we're going to make it to where they don't lose their apartment or their mortgage?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Because you got to do that.
Yeah, and that is important. You know, and a couple of things. A lot to unpack here and to do so quickly. But we try to anticipate every objection that you'll raise.
Okay.
And we come up with a response to it. First one's always going to be monetary. We got a response. The job thing's always tied into that. Family Medical Leave Act, you can't lose your job.
Right.
If your company's of a particular size, there's some parameters on that.
But I
But
would imagine most employers, if they know something is going on, they want you to get well and healthy.
I've never run into one that doesn't.
Right.
I've never run into one if I have the ability to talk to the employer, and that's kind of tricky. But if I have the opportunity, they know something's going on.
Right.
And they want that employee to get well.
So
yeah, I get a lot of cooperation from
So
employers.
we've got about 4 minutes left, Terry. I had alluded earlier, you actually travel with them, correct?
Yeah, I transport. I lead the intervention from first call all the way through intervention, and I get them in the car, and then sometimes on the plane, and I take them to treatment.
Okay.
I get them there. So.
And then after they get out of treatment, you're not done. You stay as a resource to them and the family, correct?
Yeah, mainly the family, because once I get them into the treatment facility, they don't need an interventionist kind of overseeing them and getting all the good treatment facilities. They do want my input in the sense that what's the family system like? You know, what have I learned? And I've been on ground. I've been right there with them, so they do want that. But no, I really work with the families to try to say, all right, here's how you get into recovery, because addiction, Franz, every addict or alcoholic affects directly 6 to 8 people. So we've got a lot of people that need help here, and I work with a family. And then I'm also available to help with that individual who's in the treatment facility to whatever degree the clinical team wants me, and then when they get out to help get them back into aftercare.
So before we wrap up, Terry, if people want to get more information about Chrysalis Interventions and what you do, maybe there's somebody out there listening who's like, man, I need to hire Terry in Chrysalis. Where would they go? What's the website? What's the contact information?
Right, www.chrysalisinterventions.com. My phone number's on there, but it's 225-405-0797. Just call me.
Okay.
I take calls, and just reach out through the program here, whatever you can do. I'll be glad to talk with people.
Yeah, and look, if you're out there and you missed that, if you just reach out to me, I talk to Terry on a regular basis. So Terry, I got to ask, there's some sayings that you're known to say.
Okay.
Sittin' chili. We've said it twice now. What is sittin' chili?
Sitting chili. I was raised in Kentucky, in horse farm country. Sitting chili is when you're trying to train a thoroughbred, and a lot of times a new trainer will be jerking that horse around and trying to make it do things. You don't do that. You just kind of sit on that horse and you keep your hands very still, and then the horse knows that maybe he's got a friend there, an advocate. So sitting chili is just don't try to jerk that horse around. Just kind of sit chili. Let things naturally develop. It's a good way to look at life.
I try to sit chili. In fact, I took a picture of my son and I on our deck yesterday. The weather, Chuck, was perfect. Sunny, but not lower humidity. It was maybe in the 80s. And I sent it over to Terry, and Terry was like, sitting chili, Franz. So the dog was out there, too.
I just automatically went to food, thinking about chili.
Chili. It's okay.
Sit chili. I sit
It's
with
okay.
a bowl of chili.
So we're about to hit our first break. You've been listening to the Geaux Rouge radio show. We had Terry Ellis from Chrysalis Interventions. Terry, you can stick around for a second or two when we go to our first break. If you have a loved one out there that is suffering from addiction, whether it's alcohol, drugs, or whatever, this is certainly a good resource for you. I love Terry Ellis, and I think what he's doing is great. And I will say the other benefit of utilizing someone like Terry is Terry really does care. We're about to hit our first break. For more information on the Geaux Rouge Show, go to www.geauxrouge.com. Terry, thank you for joining us. We'll definitely have you back. I forgot this is Recovery Month. So, yeah, I'm the last person that should have forgotten that. So, yeah, September. Do something for someone you love by helping them get some intervention work going on. So, that's about it for this segment. We will be right back with the Geaux Rouge Show. Are we clear? All right, so we're still on YouTube.
Okay.
We're still on YouTube.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, I feel compelled to point out, shout out to Ross Rushing, who is, in fact, one of your favorite people on the planet, right? Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, well,
Sure,
okay,
sure.
you know.
So, I hope Ross is watching, which I think
Counting
he is.
on it.
So I gotta ask before we get the Theater Baton Rouge folks in here. 6 years, I imagine, and while there is a level of confidentiality, I would imagine over 6 years you've had some pretty interesting intervention stories of either the actual intervention itself or transiting a human being from one plot spot to another.
Right.
Any that stick out real fast that you can share without divulging?
Right. Yeah, of course. The ones people love to hear about are the ones where it just got real difficult, or there was panic, or they're running, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that has sometimes.
I want to hear the
not
success
very often.
stories. I want to hear the guy
that's what I like to talk about. I love the ones where I got them in the car, and they're heading there, and they're saying things, they're muttering to themselves, and they're going, "I was in a death spiral. I was in a death spiral. I need this. I was in a death spiral." And they're just going over and over that. And I just let them talk, but I just try to give them a little hope. It can end.
Awesome.
It can start today and a whole new life for you.
So the goal for all of us who are in recovery is not extreme happiness, but
reasonable happiness.
Reasonable
That's
happiness. Serenity. That's kind of the definition. Yeah, serenity, the definition is reasonable happiness. And, when you learn that that's kind of the definition, it's like, reasonable happiness sounds pretty darn good, especially when you're in the black hole of not being reasonably happy. Well, Terry, thank you for coming in, my friend. We'll definitely have you coming back on. And
Thanks a lot, Franz.
Not a problem. Let's get the Theater Baton Rouge folks in. Terry, I'll let you get back onto your busy day. All right, brother.
He's just so mean.
All right, so Chuck, this is going to be where we get a little creative. I may use that microphone so they can share. Is that okay with you?
That's fine.
That's the bad microphone, right?
When you need to stay right on.
All right, so move that chair out of the way, guys.
Okay. Are we demasking?
You can demask if you want to. I have been vaccinated.
Y'all
good?
are fine in here.
Okay.
I mean,
As
I don't know
have
if
we.
you're fine in here.
We're all vaccinated here.
We're all vaccinated within the room.
Hashtag vax.
Hashtag vax indeed.
I feel like we're gonna
You
sing.
two will focus on this mic, and then you two guys focus on
Thank you
this.
so much.
Yeah, thank you.
So here's the trick. When you speak, you have to step up and literally with these mics own it.
Just kind of like if you're right here and you're talking, as long as you're talking at the mic.
Awesome. Thank you.
So we're going to do the intro, 2-minute intro. I'm going to do the normal intro stuff. I'll introduce Jenny, and then I'll let you introduce your folks again. And then we're just going to jump. It's 20 minutes. We're going to have fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.
I am a little upset.
So you do the show intro again?
He does a different bump of some sort, but it's not the same show intro. So it's a different one. If you don't want to, you can have him at it later.
That's fine.
It's up to you.
That was
gonna
the
take my
only
bag
music
off
bump
my
in there.
Get comfy.
We'll add it in post. Huh? We'll add it in post. Like you earned that production money. I like it.
Let's you talk on that mic, Franz.
Check. 1, 2, 3. Check. Sure.
Yeah. And just whoever you're pointing at, make sure that mic.
I got to stay here. And we have issues with this sometimes. So I will stay here. So if I do the side eye, that's why.
Very good.
He's not being shady or anything. Well, I mean, maybe.
only
Criminal defense attorney.
All right. You ready, Franz?
Yes, sir. Welcome back to the second segment of the Geaux Rouge radio show. This is your host, Franz Borchardt. If you're listening on YouTube, on the Geaux Rouge channel, or if you're listening on Talk 107.3, welcome to the circus. This is episode 90. Once again, 10 more episodes, and I get a set of steak knives. Set of steak knives.
Yeah, man.
We have Theater Baton Rouge in the house, and I got to tell you, Chuck, I'm a little disappointed.
Why are you a little
Because
disappointed?
they did a raffle, or doing a raffle, I think they did it, where they were giving away, raffling a Clue game to coincide with the Clue production. They did a recent play.
I'm mad I missed that. I didn't
I
even know
missed
that
the
happened.
play, and I didn't buy a raffle ticket.
Well, you should be mad at yourself then, I would think.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, I know. You snooze, you lose. That sound effect was brought to you by Jenny from Theater Baton Rouge.
It's very good. It's very good.
So this,
Acting.
yes, she is an actress. So this segment we're gonna be hanging out with our favorite folks from Theater Baton Rouge. They're gonna be talking about Clue, a production that just wrapped. Look at me using theater terms, wrapped. And then
so professional, Franz.
and then one of my favorite movies is now coming to their theater, Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I will not miss. And so we're going to talk all about it. So before we do that, though, it's time to thank our show sponsors. These are the folks, the men and women, the businesses that make the Geaux Rouge show possible. We've got Dr. G, Dr. Gunja Raina with MDVIP at Heal 360. She is my concierge medical doctor. She can be yours. www.drraina.com. Doctor spelled out, drraina.com. Look, I said in the first half, I'll say it again. If you've noticed, I've lost a little bit of Franz, like 80 pounds of Franz. She gets a big shout out on that one.
That's a good thing.
I see her every month. We work on diet together. We work on fitness together. She checks my vitals. She checks my blood. It is amazing. If I'm not feeling good, I text her a whiny text. Sometimes she tells me to suck it up, Buttercup. And
No, not
sometimes
you sending whiny
I'm
texts.
so whiny,
my
man.
God.
I'm so whiny.
I would never guessed that, Franz, at all.
I raked this last week on hurricane. I was helping out a friend rake his yard, and my shoulder has just never been the same.
Wow. Okay.
Manual labor. So, also, La Divina Italian Cafe serving select wines, ice cold beer, plus their exclusive sorbet mimosa. Check them out for brunch, one of the best brunch spots in Baton Rouge. And last but not least, the finest criminal defense firm in the universe, the Borchardt Law Firm. That's my lemonade stand. So check us out at www.borchartlawfirm.com. In large part, that's my day job, Chuck. That's where I make a living.
You actually do law things.
I do a lot of law, right?
Yeah.
Like
Law things,
one
that's
might even
professional
say
term.
I have a focused specialty. I don't know, but
Maybe.
the fish don't fry in the kitchen, as they say.
Beans don't burn on the grill.
Right. So definitely check out the Borchardt Law Firm. Well, without further ado, Theater Baton Rouge. We got Jenny. Jenny, you're like the CEO, the boss, the director of the Theater Baton Rouge. You're the buck stops here.
That's correct.
All right. You're married to an amazing man.
I am.
Hashtag man crush on Kenneth.
It's true.
So you have been invited to come in with some of your wonderful, amazing folks. I'm going to let you introduce them to talk a little bit about your recent production of Clue, and then what else is going on with the theater. So take it over, man.
Awesome.
Your microphone.
Thanks, Franz. Thanks for having us today. As
always.
always, we love coming on your show,
Sure.
so thank you. So I am joined with 3 cast members from the Rocky Horror Show. I'm going to introduce them really quickly and let them talk a little bit about Rocky Horror. Then we're going to talk about Clue and that wonderful show that you missed.
You're a director here. You're the captain.
And then we're going to talk about some more things that are coming up. But we're just going to go ahead and jump into Rocky with these guys. So I have Matt Miyagi, who is in the ensemble for the Rocky Horror Show. He's playing one of the Phantoms. He also happens to be our communications and education coordinator at Theater Baton Rouge.
So that's nice.
Yes. So he can help me with anything I forget to say. Thomas Jackson is playing our Frank this year in the Rocky Horror Show.
And that's a big part, right? Who's Frank?
Yeah,
That's
I'm
Tim
Frank.
Curry's role, yeah.
Tim Curry plays Frank in the original.
Are you going to shave the beard and the goatee for that?
I don't have the hair on my head, so we might keep the hair on the bottom of my head.
Can you
with the
play?
beard.
So let me ask.
I have a question.
Yeah, hold on.
I have a question,
Who's in charge
Franz.
here?
So can you play Frank with facial hair?
Absolutely. We've done it many times in the past few years.
Okay, so it is a thing. Okay,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah. So before you got that part, were you sitting around and waiting? Was there a lot of anticipation?
I was wondering if you were going to say it or not. Yeah.
Like that? You like that, Franz?
I was definitely itching to find out what would happen next whenever I found out that I was auditioning for the show. And the first thing that I did think about was, am I going to have to shave?
Okay.
So I honestly, I think we'll find out a little bit later whenever we get further into the production.
We'll find out what the director wants.
So I have a 5-year-old who's about to be 6 literally next week. And he today made his Father's Day in carpool. He goes, I want to be bald like you. Wow. And my son has
No one should
hair.
ever wish that.
And by the way, if
Hey.
you've seen my son's hair, he is, God bless him, he has his mother's hair.
He's got a head full of hair.
Curly, brownish blonde hair. He is a beautiful human being. And I almost started crying when he said, I want to be bald like you, because I felt like saying, nobody wants to be bald like me. But that being said, if you're Frank and you're bald, do you wear the wig or do you not wear the wig?
You know,
I'm sorry, I'm getting
no,
engrossed
I
in
get
this.
it. I get it. I understand. It honestly, it really isn't a thing until all of the characters are really made.
Okay, gotcha.
And we're really like embodying all of those things.
Okay.
I think that that's going to be something that's a decision that's made later.
So
It's all about interpretation. It's his interpretation.
I can't get
Frank,
the movie. I got to
so-
get the movie out of my I'm
Well, yeah,
developing
I get it.
expectations. And
Yeah.
I need to diminish my expectations
Yes.
and just walk in with a clean
Go in with a
slate.
blank slate and just.
So besides Frank, who else do we have here?
We also have John Thomas Hernandez, who is playing the narrator in the Rocky Horror Show. So he's going to take us through this adventure.
That's awesome.
And he is also doing hair and makeup for The Hobbit, which opens up soon
I like the
as
way.
well.
I
Do you like
the-
that segue?
Hobbit, and then also the Hobbits is the kids.
That's the Young Actors Program.
Okay.
And John Thomas is actually a former young actor himself, as
Awesome,
is
John.
Matt.
Cool.
We're going full circle over here.
Yeah.
All right. So I have been eyeballing. So same little boy sitting in my living room yesterday. We were watching the animated Hobbit. Taking you back a minute.
it's the good Hobbit.
The good
It's
Hobbit.
so good.
So we were watching the animated one, and I was prepping for today, and I noticed you guys have a production of The Hobbit coming, and I'm like, I think I could bring my little boy to that.
You
that would be
absolutely
probably
should.
okay. Well, you know, as a father, there are things like he's a little emo kid. He wants to watch Gremlins or Critters, and I'm like, not so much. And you know, we watched Labyrinth last night, which was okay. You know,
a good call. It's a
that's a
good
good
call
call.
for
But
it.
like,
I love
I'm
Labyrinth.
always like the father that's like, am I gonna create a sociopathic like axe murderer
No, you're
or?
fine. I watched The Shining when I was 9. I turned out great.
Yeah, I mean,
like, it's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
Okay.
But definitely bring him to see The Hobbit because it's a solid PG. It's an hour-long production of the show that all of us know and love. It's full of adventures and fighting and, of course, Gollum and Bilbo and Thorin Oakenshield and all the
Yes.
characters
Look
that
at
you
her
know and love.
It's like she knows The Hobbit. Are you in The Hobbit, or is it all kids?
It's all kids. It's all kids. It's directed by
'Cause
Jason Bro. If I could be in The Hobbit, Franz, I would be.
I have noticed that on occasion, the people that run the Baton Rouge, the Theater Baton Rouge, are sometimes in the productions, which I think is a good thing. I don't have a problem with that. I noticed that, right?
The perks.
I mean,
That's right.
all right. So your last guest this week is.
I think I've introduced everybody.
Oh, you have, or I
Yes.
wasn't. I was just not paying attention.
Good job,
Yes.
Franz. Good job hosting your show.
Okay, all right. I know. I'm trying to do like two things at once. It's horrible.
That's fine.
All right,
Well, we can
so
talk. Matt can talk a little bit about
that's a good segue to
being
Matt.
excited about.
Yes.
Rocky.
She aggressively pushes him to the mic.
Here, Matt, talk.
Yes, no, I'm actually super excited to be in Rocky. This will actually be my first show I'm actually in at Theater Baton Rouge.
Okay.
For the first time since 2016.
Okay, what was the last part you played in 2016?
So the last thing I did, the last full show I did was The Boyfriend with the Young Actors Program.
Okay.
Back in 2016, I was Percival Brown in that production, and then I was part of the inaugural gala that we
Okay.
did in 2016.
Okay.
Before I went off to college in DC.
So Rocky is coming up when?
So Rocky opens on October 28th and runs through Halloween night. So it was we just changed the dates due to Hurricane Ida. We had to push both The Hobbit and the Rocky Horror Show back. So The Hobbit is now running The Hobbit is now running September 24th through October 3rd, and the Rocky Horror Show is now running October 28th through 31st.
And if you're watching, by the way, guys, I will post something on Geaux Rouge so that we have all this. I'll get Jenny to do a map for me with a diagram and arrows and all that.
On it.
So, Rocky, Halloween night?
Halloween
Halloween
night,
night
baby.
is so good.
Okay.
It's gonna be awesome.
Okay.
Everybody should dress up.
I was about to ask,
So
can
that
the
was-
audience dress up and
that was-
participate?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
you
should dress up
encourage them
every
to.
night. Every single night you should dress up.
Bring your
Okay.
toast.
It's a party every time.
We have lots of people who come see the show in full costume, sometimes dressed as their favorite character. We have a lot of men and women come in corsets, fishnets, giant heels. John Thomas himself was saying that he was thinking about wearing his giant heels for today. He's going to save them for the show, though. So, but lots of fun stuff coming up.
Okay.
So yeah, The Hobbit is first, and then followed by the Rocky Horror Show. And I'll let these guys talk just a little bit about their experience thus far. It's directed by Cole King, who is an LSU PhD student. It is music directed by Libby Judy Smith, who is a former actor at Theater Baton Rouge, but she actually, did I say music directed?
Yes.
Choreographed. But she actually moved to Lafayette, so she has less time to be involved these days, and music directed by EC Direct. So
Okay.
it's a really great team, and we just had callbacks recently, and they're getting started this coming Sunday, so I'll let them chat about it for just a second.
So go for it.
Before we get into it, where can we get tickets to get these shows? To get
Thank
tickets for
you.
these shows?
Great job, John Thomas. So you can get tickets at theaterbr.org or by calling our box office at 924-6496.
Thank you, Jenny, for the info. No, yeah, Rocky this
Subtle
year,
like an anvil.
very subtle all the time, perfect touch. No, yeah, this is my second time doing Rocky. I did it back
Okay.
the last time we did it in 2019, and I was Riff Raff then,
Okay.
and it was really awesome. I got to learn the relationship that is between the audience and the performer, which is pretty detrimental to the role that I'm playing now. Frank is going to be a big old foot-long hot dog to take on for sure. But it's
no pun intended.
every single pun intended actually with this show. And it's honestly probably going to be one of my best works to date.
So if I watch, so if I watched the show last time, the play last time,
Yeah.
should I be expecting a different? Theme's not the right word. Vision.
Yeah, vibe, aesthetic.
It's not as if you're like, we like the decorations from last time. Some of or do y'all change it up? Is what I'm getting at.
Every time.
Okay,
it's
that's
always
really what I
a
was getting
different
at.
director. Every time you get a different director in there, even the different cast alone, it's going to make massive changes to every single decision. Of course, with it being Rocky Horror, it will still be the same true Rocky Horror that you love and know.
Okay.
All the lines, as far as the show is concerned, they're pretty taken directly from the movie. Not every single line is taken, but those call-outs are all there. The opportunities to throw things at us are all still there. Very exciting.
What's interesting to me is the movie came out when? In the
70, yeah,
75's, had a cult-like following to it. Same play movie in 2021 with the way the world views things in 2021 to me is amazing. It's just amazing,
yeah.
and it speaks about the nature of the actual production and the
Yes.
story, right? So
It's perfect for that. It's perfect for every single year just being able to take whatever's happened into the show because it has this perfect skeleton to build off of. It's going to be so much fun.
awesome. So
Well, I was just going to say, to tag on to what Thomas was saying, one of the reasons we hire a new director for the show every year is because we want it to be fresh, and we don't want people to feel like they're seeing the same thing year after year. I think that's one of the dangers of doing the same show repeatedly. But we've managed to keep it fresh and change it up and make it really, really interesting. And Rocky is one of those shows that just seems timeless and universal and crosses so many generations and types of cultures.
So if you want to have an adult theater experience, I think it's
Hard R. Hard
Yeah.
R.
Yeah, it is a hard R, but I was going a different direction there. Even though our first segment dealt with recovery and alcoholism and substance abuse, there is a fully functioning bar
Yes.
at Theater Baton Rouge, and I always tell people that because it is what makes it. It's not that you need to be drinking while you're watching a play, but if you want a night of adultism, so to speak, you can have drinks there. It's there.
I agree. I think our bar really sets us apart as making this a very interesting venue where you
Right.
can come, sit back, relax, have a drink, and enjoy a show.
Right. And going back to the first segment, if you're like me, you don't drink. There's sodas there, Diet Coke.
That's right.
Yes. So I am excited about this production. What else is going on at the theater? Talk to me. Keep going.
Well, just going back to the bar, there's also, so the great thing about the bar this year is we have disposable cups. So you can take your drinks into the theater.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, we weren't supposed to take our drinks. Oh.
It was fine before.
So you guys, the thing, you've heard me say this before, so you're probably tired of me saying this, but I think you guys are a treasure of Mid-City, and people sometimes forget that you guys are in, like, Mid-City and a part of Mid-City. I like the fact that you've got so much good stuff going on. You've found a way of adapting during this crazy COVID season. So what else is going on? Keep talking to me.
So we'll talk a little bit about Clue.
All right.
So Clue I know that one thing you and I talked about was just chatting a little bit about the success of Clue, and I think that we all expected Clue to be a really fun, well-received show because it's so popular for
Weren't
so
y'all
many
sold
reasons.
out every single night?
We sold out every single night.
So of course, going to the theater with you guys is always an amazing experience. But like, that's awesome, right?
Yes.
You had people like me who are like, so can I like get on the list or something? Or
No, it's true. We had waiting lists for several shows
That's an
the second
amazing,
weekend,
amazing
and
feeling.
we had many people calling that we had to turn away, which we have not experienced that in 2 years.
I feel like we need to do a capital campaign to raise more money so that we can get you a bigger theater.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice, Franz?
Bigger
From your
theater.
lips to God's ears.
Yes, yes.
Let's do it. We've been talking
Yeah.
capital campaign for a while.
Yeah. Well, your theater holds how many people?
So our main stage holds 327. Our studio holds 90.
Yeah, it's a very comfortable spot. I'm a big fan. Okay, so Clue.
So Clue sold out every performance. The play, as we were discussing just a minute ago, is based on the movie. And so for those movie lovers that came to see the show, they were treated with many of the lines that they know and love, the characters that they know and love. Of course, Wadsworth, the 6 suspects. And then, of course, we had Yvette, our good friend Chelsea Gooden, and Kenny Mayfield and Carol Moore in the ensemble. It was a really great show. Yours truly played Mrs. White. So I had a great time.
Was your husband in the play?
He was in the ensemble. He played Mr. Buddy, and he played one of the audience's favorite characters in the entire show, the cop in the second act.
Okay.
So
So that's a lot double duty there, right?
That-
That's heavy.
yes.
Let Kenneth take it. And by the way, our mutually good friend Chelsea hates it when I call him Ken. She's like, "Who's Ken?" So I make it a point to call Kenneth. So that being said, got cut short a little bit because of the hurricane, which
yeah,
which
we
happens.
lost a day, but it was just a day.
Okay. So I want to circle back because this is really the most important part of the conversation. If I'm interested in sponsoring or buying tickets, how do I get tickets again? And what sponsorship opportunities are there?
Gosh, thanks for asking, Franz. So tickets, theaterbr.org, our website. Our phone number is 924-6496. And if people like Franz, who is a current sponsor, he sponsored Theater Baton Rouge for the past couple of years and is doing so again this
Yes,
year.
yes.
So thank you for that. We
Absolutely.
really appreciate it.
Well, this is, by the way, look, we live in a world where there's a lot of competing charities and social interests. I like supporting the arts. And look, at the end of the day, you guys are 100% the arts. So you guys provide a great service to the community. It's entertaining. It's good to see people get opportunities where, they may be in a production when they're a kid and then they grow up. I mean, I don't know if you feel like you're grown up or not, but I'm 42 and I still don't feel grown up. And I have a lot of immature tendencies, as Chuck will tell you. However, it's good to see people progress. And then in many respects, I mean, we're living in an acting town now, right? I mean, Baton Rouge is like, Hollywood is like, right? I mean,
Baton Rouge is full of insanely talented people.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. We're lucky to be living in this city that is full of rich culture and
wonderful
talent.
So what else do we need to talk about in our remaining
But
time?
no, I just wanted to say, if you're interested in sponsoring, you can go to our website. There are sponsorship levels on our website. I'm also always happy to meet with people. Basically, we have sponsorship levels ranging from $500 to $10,000.
Right.
You can sponsor a show, you can sponsor a class, you can sponsor a building, you can sponsor whatever you want.
A building.
That's right.
A building. Wow.
A building.
The Franz
So-
Borghardt building.
I don't know if the Borghardt law firm has that kind of financial wherewithal.
Sure
but,
you do, Franz.
But they're probably definitely going to get like 500-ish. Which, for me, let me tell you.
Ish,
one,
that means like 1,000.
so it's a business.
That's exactly right.
You
That's what I
guys
heard.
are a charitable organization, right? It's a write-off.
Nonprofit.
You get some tickets. So I'm going to Rocky anyway. So I get some tickets. I
You get tickets, you get a sponsor Sunday on
Right.
social media, a little shout out.
you know how much I like shout-outs.
Franz hates to be put in the spotlight.
I
We've
know.
met Franz
I
before.
know.
Doesn't
He's
like the
very
attention
shy.
at all.
Very shy.
I'm an introvert extrovert.
Sure. Okay.
So I got to tell you, in our remaining 2 minutes or 1 minute, I got to tell you, there was an opportunity for me to do an audition for one of y'all's productions where it literally was a reading back and forth between two lovers. And Chelsea tried to get me to do it. She goes, "This is your opportunity because you just have to read. You don't have to memorize anything. You don't." And I totally blinked on it. As you know,
We
I
tried
fight.
to get him to audition for Love Letters.
I'm going to audition at some point. I've done stand-up comedy with one of your proteges, one of your students, Omar.
That's right, of course.
So Omar got me into stand-up comedy, and I've actually done stand-up comedy. It was a charity event.
Omar's really good.
Yeah,
Omar
Omar's
is
very
fabulous. I love him.
good. So they got me to do a charity event, thinking, how bad is this guy going to be? And it turned out that because I'm a trial attorney, I actually had some timing and I had some funny stuff to talk about my job. And so Omar got me to do some open mic nights, and I don't know when you become a professional. Is it when you get paid to do the gig, or when you just raise money to do the gig? Because I've raised money to do it several times, but yeah. So
Let's call it professional.
I feel like I could be a comedian. So okay, last 30 seconds. Anything else we need to jive about?
I just want to say, get your tickets for The Hobbit, The Rocky Horror Show, and Godspell. All are coming up, and I'm gonna leave the mic to these guys for the remainder of the time.
And we also just announced fall classes, so make sure you check that out on social media and our website.
Offer classes as well.
Classes year-round.
I love it.
Matt's right. We did just announce them, and we have 5 great options this time, so check them out.
So Jenny's going to send me an email with all the buzz.
Yes,
links.
sir.
And then anything else, guys?
Tickets always sell out for Rocky, so please do not put it off. Go get them now.
Okay. And the sponsorship insures you tickets, right?
Yes, sir.
There you go. There you go. And then
I mean, Rocky's gonna be fun, sexy, and hot. So I mean, he's
I
gonna come.
really.
Fun, sexy, hot.
Sold right there.
That's it, honestly.
And on that
Best Halloween
note,
party you can think
and
of.
on that note, Theater Baton Rouge. Thank you for coming on the
Fun,
Geaux Rouge
sexy,
show.
hot.
We just sold out, actually.
Wow. Fun, sexy, hot.
That should be on like
That
the
bow tie.
yeah. That's all you need to
That's
say
right.
right
New
there.
I think I
tagline.
just made the whole campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put that on a shirt.
So you've been listening to the sweet sounds of the Geaux Rouge Radio Show, episode 90. For more information about the Geaux Rouge Show and for episodes on demand, go to www.gauxrouge.com. And also, guys, do me a favor. Go to the YouTube, the Geaux Rouge YouTube page. Click follow. I have to get a certain amount of followers so that I can live stream. No, it's a true story. I cannot live stream until I get like 150 or 1,500. I don't know. And also, I have an ego. My ego needs followers. I mean, like disciples, if you will. Did I just compare myself to Jesus? Okay, on that note, we're out.
Speaking of
Yeah, and we're out
Godspell.
now. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week, hopefully, with another episode. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you so much.
So,
Thanks, Franz.
no problem. So, listen, seriously, all you need to do is send me a very concise email with some links
Okay.
and some photos, and I will do a very long post about it to where we can do a segue. And then what we also should do, and I will finance this as a separate piece. I'd like to do a live pre-show or post-show from one of the Rockies.
That would
That'd
be
be
That would be
I
awesome.
will pay for the unless you guys have audio.
You come stay with me while I get my makeup on.
Dude,
We
totally.
do. I think we should be able to.
If we can do a live stream or something to help promote some of it, and then we can do a segue into if you can't make this show, you can certainly support the theater, yada yada yada. So I'll get with you to determine all that since I need to give her money anyway. No, that's we're out. We're out. Okay. Bye guys.